Now, what advice would you give children who know they have problems reading and who learn they have dyslexia?
Well, like I tell my son, you're going to have to work harder than most people are going to have to work to get the grades you're going to get. But you need to believe in yourself as well. Don't make who you are. How can I rephrase that? Dyslexia is not you. You are not dyslexia. You have dyslexia. It's a different way of learning, but you are still a smart and child who can do anything he or she wants. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to know that yes, you struggle here, but you're going to be good at other areas as well, and you need to find those things that you're good at and just enjoy doing those things. The other thing I tell my son is you just have to try. It's
So
hard.
true.
It's
I
hard for
understand.
kids.
You just have to push through, but I think in the end, dyslexic students have to push through so much, and they really have so many challenges that it helps them mature faster. And helps them become more mature, smarter, and then in the end, when you come to, you could say, the final battle, they're actually better than their peers.
Yes.
So that is a really great thing. Now, how is your son, Alejandro, doing, and does he have a subject that he is passionate about?
Since we found out that our son was dyslexic and he found out that he was dyslexic, his attitude about school has changed. He enjoys going to school, whereas before he would complain that his stomach hurt, or he didn't want to go to school, or he would make up excuses.
About me?
I think it's a universal thing because I've spoken to several people on this, and they all have the same stories. So he's doing better. His reading is doing better. He does have a tutor, and she works with him once a week for 2 hours, and he is improving. He does have his moments when he's doing homework where he's really, really struggling, and I have to call upon all the patience to be able to help him. But yeah, he is doing much better. It's just he does still struggle, and it's my job to kind of help him with that. The subject that he really enjoys, he does enjoy math a lot. He's actually pretty good at math.
My goodness. Now we're not talking about me.
Once he gets the concept, he struggles with trying to get the concept, but once he gets it, he does do pretty well with it.
I understand that. I did solving for X in algebra. Just so many times that eventually you understood so well that even with myself having dyscalculia, that I was able to do it with relative ease. So that is a really great thing. I have dyscalculia, dysgraphia, and dyslexia.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's one thing in algebra.
You're able to get that.
Just solving for X, but nothing
You're
else.
You're better at than I am, probably.
Well, excellent. God bless your son. Sounds like he's really working hard, and
he is.
It's great to have a tutor who's helping you along, and I know tutors are saints along with parents, just really helping students through the dyslexia challenges.
Yes.
Now, what types of technology do you use to help him learn?
That's an interesting question because we have tried a couple of different ways. iPad, obviously, iPhone. Computer. He doesn't really take to that stuff right now all that much. I try to push, but at the same time, I have to let him decide, how he wants to do it. And so he does use the iPad from time to time. A lot of times it's for research and stuff like that. But yeah, he's not a big proponent of the tech world there.
That's fascinating.
Even though I am.
I'd really say that I was sort of the same way, but in a slightly different way, is not accepting dyslexia itself. And like I, in the beginning, wanted no help, wanted no assistance. I said, I'll figure it out eventually. I'll be fine. I was the same way with interviewing and everything like that. But eventually you really see that you have to practice and you have to work and you have to be able to push through those things because especially with dyslexic, you're not going to eventually get it. You just need to recognize that you need to use everything to your disposal. I'm even helping some of my dyslexic friends now at school who say, I don't want help, and I say, you're going to need help, you're going to the Learning Center with me. So it's things like that you have to come to an acceptance, and I do think that's something that every person has to come to their own terms with.
Right.
And I don't think that's something that people can really help another person with. They just have to come through it themselves.
You know, one thing that someone said to me as I was interviewing them, she said, when you've met one dyslexic, you've met one dyslexic. And, you know, that meaning that no two dyslexics are the same. You have struggles in different ways.
We're all the wild card.
Oh, you know, and that's great. But it also can be slightly difficult because, again, there's no one way that, you know, if I'm helping you, it may not exactly work for the way that I'm helping my son.
Yes, sir.
And so, you know, that's one of the great mysteries of dyslexia.
So, you know, one thing I also wanted to ask you, something that I just thought of, is your son, Alejandro, ever commented on how the words look on the paper? Or because I know for me myself, I've heard dyslexics sometimes say they spin around, and for myself they seem to just go 3D. It's a very strange effect, like you're wearing 3D glasses and trying to read a book. So you can still do it, it's just much more challenging, and then eventually it just blurs out so much. But has he ever said anything about that?
He doesn't say much about it these days, but earlier on, he would say that the words on the page were kind of blurry to him, or they would kind of move. But he hasn't really complained much about that lately.
Sometimes you just see it, you just can't get it. That's the strangest thing. Like my mom was telling me a while back, way back in kindergarten. Well, it wasn't that long ago, but to me, way back in kindergarten, I would say things like cat, and I would like leave out the vowel because I couldn't read it. And things like that, just little things here and there of just not being able to really see certain letters. And then don't get me started about B and D. That was the worst. Why couldn't they make the D just look more different than the B?
Oh, yeah.
So they had to do that way back when.